In 5, 4, 3.
So, yeah, like I was saying, we go live for a little bit and kind of let the audience build a little bit, but
well, so back to your point here, we were talking about kind of getting in with breweries or getting in with roasters and kind of separating those. I think just to get kind of more out of the interview, I know what got me into beer.
Oh, is that a question on there?
What got you into getting with these roasters? And they're doing some exciting things. I am certainly a mental midget in that field. The only real kind of exposure that we've gotten is working with these guys over here in Ventry, and just like, hey, this is the beer that we're working with. We'll do like 5 different French presses.
It is really cool.
You know,
really
get
and that's what
Mike and Ryan and their employees. They're very, kind of connected to all those people.
Sure.
It's not this hierarchical thing where it's pretty egalitarian in that sense. These guys will get into it and give their opinions and advice and pull things out of the coffee that I would never pull out of it.
Well, that's just it. Like that's what's got me. I'm pumped up about coffee the way I was about craft beer about 5 years ago because Albert Ackenheimer Roasters, he's been teaching me a lot about the notes and pulling stuff out of the beans and stuff. And like there was there's one. It was like a lavender
magic
cream soda notes that he said, and I'm like, okay, whatever. But then like I went home and drank it, and I was like,
there's one or two other breweries I'm thinking of,
and I just like,
but we have
I'm like, and so I'm like tasting it, and he's like giving me different coffees.
He said that
going through the tasting and
most of these are
just trying it out.
Most of the things he makes money.
All right, you guys ready to start a show?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us here on the Hop and the Bean, episode number 11, scheduled for 12. We had to bow out last week due to minor sickness, but looking to reschedule with Walkie Talkie Coffee in Canton. Super excited for everything that they're doing, but we are here today in Kent, Ohio at Mad Cap Brewing. Now, if you know anything, maybe you know about Kent because of Kent State University if you're viewing from outside of Ohio or outside of the area. But I went to school there for a little bit. I know back in, I think when Antonio Gates was playing, they went to the Final Four. A few different, they've been well known as a college town. I don't know how well known Kent is in general as a college town, but that's what I know them as.
Well, they should have gotten to the Final Four, but they lost in the Elite Eight.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Stanford could not miss a 3-point shot at that point.
That's right.
It was brutal. You guys were camping during that one.
Yeah, we were.
We were out in the middle of nowhere. Sorry to jump in there, but that was a brutal loss.
Yeah, Huffman and all those guys.
Oh, yeah. That was awesome.
Long story short, Mad Cap has established themselves here and quickly Kent is becoming known for something else other than its university, which is a great up-and-coming beer destination because of Mad Cap, in my opinion, just in my humble opinion. And I'm super pumped up about what they're doing and how they've established here in Kent and drawing the beer crowd. And I'm going to get into that in a little bit about your actual community that's been forming from the students and the beer nerds and all that. But
well, if you don't mind me jumping in, I think certainly that's a huge compliment. But one of the cornerstones, and I think what really started the craft brew community in this area well before we came along, and again, I appreciate that compliment.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about Ray's Place in Kent.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I started, getting out of class and jumping over there and really, getting away from, some of the, more traditional, American lagers, which will always have a special place in my heart. But that's where I started drinking craft beer. And a lot of places obviously are getting on board with that. And, certainly with the build out downtown, there's a lot of killer restaurants that are all embracing, the craft beer scene. And we're just lucky to kind of be a part of that.
Oh, I'm going to get to that. I'm like, because when I went to school here, in like 2003. It's complete transformation. I mean, the dorms I went to are torn down. One of the frat houses isn't there anymore. The house I lived in that was not an annex house is torn down. Like all the house I lived in, the dorms I lived in are all torn down. It's like totally. It's just like every time I drive through Canton, it like blows my mind. It's like amazing. And my wife's house is torn down. It's gone. There's like so much renovation. It's super cool to see. But I'm gonna get to that. Like I want to like hear how you guys have kind of like found your place in that. But before we get any further, like I said at the beginning, Mad Cap Brewery. Tell me how long you've actually been, so I can kind of frame the rest of our conversation. How long you've been a brewery and how you actually you came in to start. And before you get to that, I did my own research and I found out something about like this story about a mega computer. Do you care to elaborate on that?
Well, it's completely true. You can read about it on our website.
Okay. I believed it. Okay, I'm not saying that it's untrue.
So, one like really key person, and I'm going to kind of digress and point out that Mad Cap isn't just a few people sitting at the table. Mad Cap is quite a few people behind the scenes doing the brewing, working the tap room, kind of making everything go. It certainly doesn't start and end with me. I'm not a puppeteer pulling strings and making it happen. Our fans, everyone's Mad Cap. It's kind of, we don't like to look at it like we're just a brewery and we're selling you guys on beer. There's a community and a kind of a cultural vibe that we're a part of just as much as the people that are coming in here. And I guess what I'm getting at with that is we're also kind of maybe the redheaded stepchild or the black sheep of the community, because not that we don't have a lot of friends in the community.
Sure.
But we're not doing anything vanilla. We're not doing anything that everybody else is kind of trying to capture with their write-up on their, where's your story? Well, I started home brewing 10 years ago and in my basement, and people liked it. Who cares?
Yeah.
I'm tired of that write-up.
Yeah.
It's getting old. So Vince, who's actually took over all the brewing duties from me 2 years ago, and has done a phenomenal job and has raised the level of what product we're putting out there. He ripped this story off of a Fox News interview of Guar.
Okay.
Okay. So that's where this whole supercomputer thing came from. And if you know Vince, he's a humble guy. Certainly, doesn't like to be out here in the forefront. To be a face of the company, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But a lot of the cool, tongue-in-cheek sense of humor that we have, because you can only have a sense of humor about yourself.
Yeah.
That's all very much from Vince. Make no mistake about it.
Nice.
So when he pitched, he threw that up there and just said, "Hey, check this out," and we're like, "Yeah, let's leave it at that."
I love it.
That was exactly what we wanted. And
I love it so much.
Everybody else reads it, and there's no doubt that that's the direction we're going to go.
I thought about trying to create a bumper with a video and just reading that over B-roll of something crazy. I don't know, and be an ad for the show or something.
That's a great idea. We need to do that.
I need to memorize it and take it serious. Memorize it and really tell the story as if it's dead true, and try to convince people on it.
No, that's the kind of stuff I love. Yeah.
But really, where it started was all the fermenters in our bedroom.
Okay.
Blocking my closet.
That's the real
Sounds
story.
romantic.
It does have to start from a nerdy home brewing kind of place.
Sure.
And that's how a lot of, certainly if this is your 11th episode, certainly all of us, even the roasters, the brewers, we're all coming from that let's make beer that we like at our house, and hopefully it resonates with people.
Yep.
And then she didn't get to really get to her closet because there'd be fermenters piled up all over the room, and she'd have to move them around and check temperatures for me. So that's the ugly story behind it all.
Yeah. Sacrifices. So how long, like logistically, how long have you been a brewery? I know you're approaching a 2-year benchmark, right?
Well,
That's just for the tap room.
Okay.
Yeah, the tap room will be open for 2 years in October.
Okay.
Well, there's a long history behind it. Before that, though.
yeah, to Kyle's point, we started out as a much smaller production facility, actually in Stowe. We basically brewing on a home brew system, Sabco Brew Magic, brewing, a couple 6-barrel kegs at a time and selling to a few local bars.
Sure.
Just to see if we had something here
Test the
that was
water,
resonating with people.
Yeah.
You're always going to get a great response from your buddies that can come over to your house and drink your free beer and they
Right.
tell you it's the greatest thing on the planet.
Right.
So we kind of got out there and just started kind of testing those waters. And this was 2011. It's right around 2011. And if you really, so from the brewing standpoint, that started about 15 years ago with me homebrewing.
Okay.
But if you want to talk about how Mad Cap got its start, that was on the shoulders of this woman here who had to go through all of the paperwork to figure out how to navigate the federal government, how to navigate the state government, which is no easy task. And the templates were not necessarily there in place 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Now there's a ton of breweries popping up. There's more information being exchanged. We all kind of help each other out. We were talking before we got on air about, some of the breweries that you've already done podcasts with. These are all great guys. We're friends with these guys. We drink beer with these guys. We swap ideas. It is an unreal community from that standpoint.
Yep.
But what kind of gets lost in the fray are the people that do the crap that I don't want to do.
Right. It's
and
like
that's
I have
my wife.
this brilliant idea. I have this great thing that's gaining traction. How do we make it legit? How do we make this happen? Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How to sell your beer legally.
Right.
That's not an
That's
easy
the
thing.
not fun part of
right.
it.
Yeah.
That's the not fun
Yeah.
part of it.
So this all started. We kind of incorporated or set up a business and
Just real quick, I'd like to jump in. These are like the questions people don't really answer. It's like, okay, like you said, the story of how you brewed, like that's awesome, that's cool. The story of like how you became a brewery, that's great. But it's like, okay, to actually do this, it's you have to do some stuff.
yeah.
It's not easy.
Right? Yeah.
The brewers, they get to be the rock stars. They get to be the people that everyone kind of looks at like, man, you have the coolest job. You're kind of the thing that people look at like, wow, you're doing an awesome thing. But the reality is none of this happens unless you have the people that are actually making this a legitimate thing that you can go out and do and grow.
Yep.
And that's where my wife came in. Not to mention, and a lot of women in this area that are supporting their husbands, so to speak. It has got to be a nightmare to be married to a brewer. It's a manufacturing job. It's a creative outlet. You're consumed by these things, and there's people that are there essentially propping you up and propelling you forward.
Right. Yeah. Like doing all that grinding it out work that you have to do. Like what you have to do as a brewer and as like starting a brewery, you have to do that, but you also have to like do that other stuff to propel it forward, just like you just said. And if you're the only one doing it, like holy crap, that's gonna be tough. But to have someone like your wife, someone like, or you have to hire somebody to do it, right?
Yeah.
We don't get paid. We still have full-time jobs.
Really?
Oh yeah. But that's another story right there.
Yeah. Well, kind of leads me into a little bit of one of my questions. Before we go any further, maybe you mentioned Vince. Introduce your team, who we have currently, and who else is on the Mad Cap team.
Yeah, I mean, again, the list is long.
Sure.
Certainly for even as small as we are, but basically started with myself, my wife, Bill Callbaugh, and Mike Mansfield. These are the four kind of heads that came together. And this was, like I said, about 2010, 2011. Bill helped out with a lot of stuff around the brewery. We actually built our little 200 square foot garage in his dad's backyard behind Stowe High School, and that's what we were originally brewing in.
Okay.
Mike's done a lot around here as well. He did a lot of the original logo art and has continued to do artwork for us. I mean, the guy put in all the outside lighting. He's an commercial electrician.
Nice. That's huge.
And so that was kind of, four, kids in our, I guess kids, can we call ourselves that? We're in our 30s now.
Sure.
People with a harebrained idea. I'm getting thumbs up. I'm getting all kinds of good stuff over there.
Oh yeah.
That's good feedback.
Right,
Thank you.
exactly.
I know I'm on the right track. So we started with this group, and certainly we don't get to this point without adding people and people coming on that are just as passionate as we are moving forward. We can't say enough for the support we've got from our parents, doing stuff around the brewery, doing all the odd jobs, obviously being a huge support for us. But once we made the transition to this facility in Kent, it's a 17,000 square foot warehouse.
Yeah.
We got into a new 10-barrel production facility. Certainly I couldn't handle all of the brewing responsibilities, not to mention this jump from basically a homebrew size 3-barrel system,
right.
which was an intermediate step to the 10-barrel.
Yeah.
But I connected with a friend of mine who worked up at the Brew Kettle in Hudson.
Okay.
I'm sorry, in Strongsville.
Yeah, Strongsville. Yeah.
At their production facility.
They
have a tap room there. And his name's Vince Ronaldo, phenomenal brewer. He worked under Jack Kephart, who is the brewmaster at Brew Kettle. And when I say brewmaster, I don't mean that every brewery in this area has a brewmaster. That's just not true. It's a name, it's a word that gets thrown around, and it's a title that gets abused.
Sure.
There are brewmasters in Ohio, and there's a few of them.
Yeah.
The rest of us are head brewers.
Yeah.
Okay, so I
point.
think that does not mean that we're not executing and doing a great job, but there's guys like Jack that have forgotten more about brewing than I currently know, and I could only ever hope to learn and have as much knowledge as he did.
Yeah.
And Vince is a protege, and there's been quite a few guys that have come from Jack's tree that are doing really nice things in the brewing industry.
Yeah.
And he, again, like Vince, is a very humble guy. He's never going to really be out there and tell you how great he is. He probably would kick me under this table if he was sitting here. But it was certainly worth throwing his name out there.
Yeah.
Vince came in and took over all the brewing operations, revamped everything. He had experience at a 20-barrel system level that I didn't have at a 3-barrel level.
Right.
Yeah, I knew technical aspects. I knew the art form and the creativity that goes into it. You know, I have a biology degree. I have a background in that.
Yeah.
But doing it at a higher level on with a bigger volume, I think that was the big thing that Vince brought to the table originally.
And a lot of these small breweries that I talk to that start up, that's the big thing. I talk to them even some of them I've talked to when they're home brewers, and I've talked to them once they become a brewery, and they're like, man, I didn't expect that. That it's a whole different like variation of how on that scale, when it's that much of a bigger scale when you're brewing, to jump from a gallon, 2 gallon, whatever, to a 10-barrel system, a 5-barrel, or whatever it is, and to actually do it. I don't know enough about to know, but I know enough experience that people have told me that that's a big jump. So to have someone that's already experiencing that, it's got to be huge, right?
You're absolutely right.
Put you ahead of the curve already.
I mean, I can't speak more to that, than we already have. Because it's a whole different world.
Yeah, that's all. That's
so
huge.
We brought Vince on.
So he's like standing on my shoulders to propel Mad Cap.
Absolutely, he has.
Awesome.
And so, Vince came on. Then we started actually adding some taproom staff. Again, we were helped out a ton by our parents at the beginning. People that had been coming in here for that first year, they'd see my mom or her dad back there help my aunt, my uncle, whoever helping out.
Yeah.
Which is an awesome thing. We actually ended up hiring the first person that ever took a chance on us and served our beer at a restaurant in Stowe called Bellacino's.
Yeah.
He was a bar manager there. His name's Nick. If you have ever been here or you come here, most likely you're going to see him. He's a good dude, steady guy. He'll definitely remember your name. Most likely remember the beer you're drinking when you come in.
Yeah.
He is very much, a strong piece to this puzzle. And we were fortunate to get him on and just have someone steady that can kind of keep this thing under wraps while we're off doing every thing else that we need to do.
Yeah.
We added some other pieces. We added Chris, who when I started home brewing, I went into a home brew shop around the corner, and he was the guy that taught the class that I took to home brew for the first time.
All right.
Again, a humble guy, excellent brewer, mead maker, wine maker. The guy's talented, but he's not in your face and abrasive like I am.
Sure.
So he kind of lurks in the shadows.
Yeah.
Eventually, he is going to be doing mead and wine for us here.
Nice.
And he's
Mead's
also
growing really big right now. I don't know.
I love mead.
I don't know anything about it, but I want to get back in the game.
It's a phenomenal drink, and this guy does an excellent job with it.
Nice.
So we got to jump through a lot of hoops. Enter Gia. She'll have to get all the licensing dialed in and everything else. But we're really pumped to have him because he'll be back in the brewery. He helps out in the tap room, and I think, and this is gonna kind of be a recurring thing, but what I'm kind of getting at, with Vince in the brewery, he also does design work. He does all sorts of. Everybody has multiple different skills that we all kind of collaborate on. Arguably, I'm the least talented out of everyone. I just surround myself with people that are good at what they do.
Well, that's the sign. I mean, that's they say a good leader will surround themselves with people that are well at doing things that they're not good at.
Which is everything for me. So I have a lot of gaps to fill. So another conversation that was had for a few years. A couple years actually, and actually my wife didn't even know about it, and really nobody, because nobody really knew about it. My wife's cousin Kyle, and these two only kids, so they're kind of spoiled in their own way, but they actually grew up. They grew up.
This Kyle.
Yes, this is Kyle.
Okay, all right. Talking about this kind. All right.
This gentleman right here.
Yeah. Okay.
Look at that smile.
I know, right?
So he got married. He met his wife in Chicago. Have a lot of He has a lot of background in with bars and breweries out there. He also was working a sales job before he and his wife decided to move back, get out of the city, kind of start a family, get a nice root system in. Their family lives here, and just start a family, get a house, do that whole thing. Be domesticated like my wife and I have been for a long time.
Kind of what they refer to as that boomerang generation that graduated, went out to a big city, gained a ton of influence and experience, and then realized, hey, like, I want to invest where I'm from.
That is exactly the
back.
blueprint. Yeah,
Right?
that's exactly. That describes me perfectly. Yes, that's what I did. I was gone for a while. I came back to work for Ryan and be a part of Mad Cap.
I'm going to correct him there. He's not working for Ryan, okay? So, again, to this point, this whole boss owner mentality, I don't like it. It comes across awful. This guy, so we brought him on. He doesn't, if you ask me what his job description was, again, going back to this idea of versatility, that's all we have room for here. I mean, the guy, he does sales, he does distribution, he does our social media, he goes to the bank, he does all the crap that Ryan is always late on. He picks up all those pieces and handles all that for us. And it's been invaluable. And we brought him on, when I had originally talked to him, it was, hey, you can do some sales and distribution, we'll see how it goes.
Sure.
He's been another one of these kind of catapults to how we can get from point A to point Z and have a strong kind of foundation. He's also a good-looking dude, but he's taking ladies.
Sorry,
he's a good-looking guy,
Sorry,
and he is becoming the face of Mad Cap.
Yeah. Well, I noticed. Yeah, your position description is brand ambassador, I believe, right?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to let you jump in there, but it's an all-encompassing kind of thing because the reality is he's wearing so many hats.
What I hear is coach the player, not the position. Like you have a sales background, you have all this experience. Okay, let's see how you can adapt to that. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, you're also good at this. You're also good at this. Like, let you be you.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to, when you're working for
and that's Nick. Well, I was telling you about Nick.
He just knew when your glass was getting low. How do I get on that? How do I get on that mentality? I didn't send him my Spidey sense.
When you're working for something small like this, you have to be open to doing a bunch of different things. Which is also, part of the appeal of the job though too. I'm never doing the same thing, on the same day. My days are never the same. I'm not saying that complaining. I'm saying that I like that. That's attractive to me though too. You never know what the day is going to bring you.
Right. Yeah. I love that.
He turns into my IT guy sometimes when I come to do payroll and I can't figure out how to get the internet to work.
Someone has to make it work.
Well, then it goes back to your point. With both of them and the other folks that you mentioned, that it's invaluable to have people that are invested that can be like a Swiss Army knife that can do whatever is needed to do and do it well also. And even this discussion, this is one of my first questions, and that's fine that we're talking about it because this long because I feel like in any business or any time you have a team, you have leadership, you have to start with the people, right? You have to it's got to be about the people, and you have to. If you're casting a vision and you're not about your people and people aren't about the vision, you can go about this far. You can only go so far. But and that's what I hear a lot from you guys and from Mad Cap. When you talk about the community and Mad Cap isn't just you or a boss, that's it, man. You have to start with the people and then project the vision and the ideas. And I love it. That's huge.
You can't hit the nail on the head any better than that. I think, I definitely don't want to leave anyone out. His wife, Brittany, who has a whole other career that she's going to go off and do. She's a very talented person, very creative person. You'll also see her in the tap room. We value her opinion a lot. She has a lot of experience. They both worked at the same brewery together in Chicago. And then she's also, we're going to start getting into a place where we start doing some more creative kind of events for kids. We really foster bringing families in and things like that. This woman is an unbelievable seamstress. She's crafty with these two ladies getting their minds together We're going to be doing a lot more to kind of, encourage the people that come in with their kids and don't feel like they're dragging their kids to that dark, dingy, smoke-filled bar that our parents drug us to when we were kids.
Yeah. Hank is
the bowling alley, yeah.
But Hank is the product of that.
So I'm not leaving any of our.
I think you've covered everyone. I think that is everyone. Yeah, that encompasses our staff, our team. I mean, there's so many other people that make contributions, but that's.
Should we have a question from the? Oh, I love Dave.
Missing Mountain Dave. That's my man.
I don't want to answer this.
Right. Okay.
Cheers, Dave.
Cheers, Dave.
Right,
Love you, bro.
Heck yeah. To that last point, quickly, a lot of that seems to be like a progressive trend with breweries saying they're family friendly and that they want that to be a goal, but it's like not high on the priority list. It seems like there's like, and I won't say names, but I've been to breweries where I'm like, and they stress that, and I'm just like, you know what I mean? So it's like, and I get it, I love that, and that's part of the community that's even mentioned. Like a bar won't even say that. So the fact that it's even in the conversation, I think that's huge.
Well, Dave, who just piped in from Missing Mountain, which is a phenomenal brewery. They're on 59 there. Yep. We officially have the second. We just opened our patio. We have I think, the second best patio. Because their patio
I was there last night sitting on the patio, and I said to my buddy, I don't think there's a patio in Akron like this.
Oh, it's unbelievable, and those guys are great up there. But Dave, before their brewery opened up, he'd be in here with his wife and his kids.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're fostering here.
Yeah.
And I feel like earlier when I was describing, when you were asking me about our write-up on describing our brewery and went with that guar reference, I kind of want to backtrack a moment. I felt like I maybe slighted how a lot of people are doing things and was kind of separating ourselves. What I want to kind of focus on, and I think is a really cool thing in this area, don't look at it as this brewery is this, I like this brewery, I don't like this brewery.
Right, yeah.
The cool thing is we all kind of collectively have something different to offer.
Yep.
We don't have food. That's one thing that we offer is we can't feed you when you get here. But I'm saying that tongue in cheek. I think there's a lot.
We have pinball.
We got some cool pinball machines. We definitely have beer. We have plenty of space to kind of, move around. But look at this area.
Oh my goodness.
For anyone that wants to like brewery hop, all these breweries are freaking awesome in this area.
Oh yeah.
And so we're trying to collectively get this area on the map because there's a ton of great breweries pocketed up there in Cleveland.
Yep.
We're starting to kick some ass down here, I think.
Oh yeah.
And so I think it's awesome that you're kind of highlighting a lot of us. And make no mistake about it, we're drinking beers with each other, talking about Andy and Hop and Bean and the things that you're doing. That's the reality of it.
That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, and to that point, it's.
Buzz and Hank.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
And that's what, as I'm learning this, as I'm going in, even with the coffee shops and the coffee roasters, it's like every different place that I go to, it's a different story, it's a different experience. And it's not that like one is bad and one is good and but they're different. And it's like, and some people, what I'm getting now, I'm catching a lot of people, they'll give me their reviews on beer. Like, oh, well, they're brewing the beer there this way, or this beer tastes. I'm like, okay, that's like your take. That's fine. That's great. Like, have you ever been there? Like, when you go there, like, what is like your experience? Like, oh, it's phenomenal. It's like, well, that's part of it too, and that's what I'm like trying to capture. I'm like, we could sit and talk about like the process of how you brew that specific beer and why this beer, New England style IPAs and the brute IPAs and like all day, all long, all day. But like that's just like one in my mind. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but like, that's one aspect. It's got to be on point, but it's like one piece of it. If we're all like sitting here staring at beers and judging them, this place would be like stuffy and like a laboratory, But I step in here and I'm like, this is fun. Like Hank said, like this is like an adult playground, and it's like that's the feel. Like from here, like Block 15, I was there the last 3 weeks, and I walk in there, I'm like, this is like one of the best restaurants I've ever been in Akron area, like already, and they just had their like grand opening. I mean, like you have that vision, and whatever it is, that's the experience. What's the experience? And the beer only can speak to that as you brew, as you learn, as you go, and like that's the variable that you can like enter into the mix of the vision that you create, and then how it comes together, this huge community, like you're saying. That's the heartbeat behind the bean, and I love it. It's just experiencing all the different communities that they create based on different styles of each individual place. And I think you have your own unique thing going, and I freaking love it.
Well, I'm pulling two things from that. One is you need another beer because you sound parched. The other is it's people with your passion that allow us to do what we're doing.
Oh yeah.
Because if we can do whatever we want to do here, we got to definitely get Andy a beer. Hey, can we get Andy another beer? Can you let Nick know? Yeah,
Andy.
Madho.
Buzz.
I'm sorry, Buzz. Can we get a pint of Madho for this gentleman? Are you guys good?
Okay, yeah.
Thank you, bro. Your next beer's on me. But no, I mean, the fact that your level of excitement. Sometimes for us, this becomes a thing where it's like we're just trying to get a beer through the tanks, without rushing it.
Yeah.
We're trying to make sure things are right for our customers, and at times it becomes a job.
Sure.
And then somebody like you that's passionate, and you get people on your team that you might be looking at like, shit, we're clearing out our checking account right now to keep things going because the building department won't approve our plans because they've got a completely inept building inspector.
Yep.
You're worried about these things.
Yep.
And then you walk into work and you've got somebody that's got a smile on his face, right?
$1 million smile.
It is $1 million smile.
Saving it up.
Oh no, I know it is. Please, that spot was brought to you by Mad Cap Brewing Company.
The more you know.
Your level of excitement, just what you have going on here, that almost pushes us through some of those tough times to continue to grow the business.
Sure.
It really does.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
These guys need to pipe in and tell me to shut up.
I mean,
I just love listening to you talk.
like when you say that, like my tagline is like I'm all hopped up. Like, that's putting it mildly. Like I get like, hopefully it's like coming across that like, I am passionate about this. I love it. I think it's wherever it's planted, wherever it grows, a brewery, and a lot of these, if it's done in the right way, a specialty coffee shop is like at the very top forefront of city revitalization. Like it's like the days of like a mom and pop like antique like store, like that still might work in some places, but like if you really want to like pump a shot of adrenaline into your city or your town or whatever, like you get a brewery that knows what they're doing, and they're like going to draw people, they're going to draw revenue, they're going to draw all this income and all this attraction, and it's not a bar. That's one of the big conversations I have with people. It's like it's not a bar, it's a brew pub at a brewery. There's a difference, and trying to like, and it's not going to be this big like whole thing about like having drunks hanging out till 4 a.m. It's like and I don't want to get into that conversation too much. But it's and it goes back to the community, right? That we are creating as a craft beer community. And I can't talk about, thank you so much, how much that I love it.
We didn't tell them that.
But I do want to speak to, so kind of maybe reining us back into Mad Cap specific.
You're gonna have to rein me in.
Yeah. Being at Kent, Ohio, so close to Kent State, you have, every time that I've been here, I imagine, and I experience a diverse crowd or community. And then with the pinball machines, which I'm so jacked up about, that like this is a thing, and it's a trend that I've seen happening. And then so you got the craft beer crowd, you'll have the students from Kent crowd, maybe, I don't know, you can speak to that, and then now you have the pinball crowd. Tell me a little bit how you see that playing out and how that works, and if and how it affects your plan.
Well, I want to throw a quick shout out to the Sweaty Nerds Pinball League, and Matt Quirk, who actually owns, maintains, operates these pinball machines, set up this league. We've got a really cool group of guys. There's 3 of them right now.
I was gonna say there's a good amount of them here right now. Yeah.
They're they're getting it in for their Tuesday league.
Nice.
And they're awesome guys. They definitely contribute to the vibe of this place.
Yeah.
I was talking to you about kind of the energy that you're putting off. That's like really it propels me forward. It gets me excited about what we're doing, because sometimes you get lost in the minutia.
Sure.
These guys
Sure.
are the same way.
Yeah.
Watching these guys, they'll get little free games and they'll let my daughter play
Nice.
off them, and they'll teach her
They
pinball.
taught her so much. She'll yell at me, like when I'm playing with her. She'll be like, "No, you're not how you do it."
But I want to let these guys kind of jump in. I can talk forever, but just as far as
I'm sorry. I go off the story he's always told about, like, when we first opened.
Yeah.
There was an older couple sitting at a table. The woman was knitting, and there was like
Here? Like
a picnic
at
bench.
a picnic bench.
Nice.
And 2 girls walk in, fishnets, all black, getting ready to go to a metal show.
Yeah.
And there wasn't anywhere to sit. They sat at the table with them, ended up hanging out, playing cards.
That's awesome. I love that.
The older couple called them over because they were looking around. It was right when we opened. There was nowhere to sit.
Yeah,
And
hey, sit here. Yeah.
Hey, come sit here.
Yeah.
And then we go back to, she's running the register, I'm pouring beer, and I look back over. Not only is the lady not knitting and the guy's not reading his novel, but they're now playing games. We have a bunch of table games, and it's like worlds colliding.
Yep.
But
I
it was.
see it a lot here.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Like that. So I have a church background. I've worked in ministry for the past 5 years, and I read something like a stat that said if a church wants to learn how to create community, go to a brew pub. And I was like, that's it.
I saw there was one in California that's actually serving craft beer at it.
I saw that recently.
That's awesome. You might actually get me to go.
Hey, I don't want to make any announcements, but
That's a great idea.
keep your eye out.
All right. Good.
Oh, about the bikes, the tours that we're doing on those. I mean, they just kicked off last week. Oh, I know. Yeah, this group just came back from them.
Oh yeah.
So we're running tours on those spider bikes. They're called spider bikes.
Spider
officially,
bikes,
right?
yeah.
What's the? It's
I don't know.
Cleveland Cycle. Is that
Cleveland's-
right?
Say that?
Cleveland
I don't
Cycle
wanna-
Tours.
Yep.
Cleveland Cycle Tours. So they're doing I mean, I was actually pretty skeptical about how well they were going to be received driving
Sure.
down into Kent because we're a little bit off the beaten path down here.
Yeah.
But so far they've gone really well. I mean, people really like them. I mean, they draw attention to them. You can say yes. So you're legally allowed to. You're legally allowed to take beer with you off
Only
bike.
the driver of the bike can't drink, right?
Yes. So they're going to send you. They'll have a driver with you. There's a guy that.
Yep.
A guy or girl that works for the company that's going to come with you. It's basically your unofficial tour guide. It's going to take you down there. Everyone else, you can get up to 6 people on it. You're able to drink and take take a beer from here.
32 or 36
Yes,
ounces?
yeah. So we bought.
32?
Yeah, tell me how that
36.
works.
We've been selling 32 ounce, quite a large beer. Selling 32 ounce beers here, so they can take them on the trip with them into Kent.
How far do they go?
I mean, they say the trip. I don't know distance wise, but they say the trip usually lasts about 2 hours. I know they're making a couple stops. Yeah, they're making a couple stops downtown.
Wow.
They're going to Water Street, if not mistaken, right, Brian?
Yeah, so the mornings, if you book in the morning, it goes to the pub, which is right there off Mogador, and then it hits Summit there.
Okay.
It's like right on that
It's
corner.
right there, because they're open earlier. Then they'll hit and I think it's cool, it kind of breaks up the trip. They'll hit either like right in front of the train station for kind of a photo op thing to really connect you to the city of Kent, or they'll hit Acorn Alleys kind of area.
Dude, that place is
both
ridiculous.
Both cool stops. And then I want to say the Zephyr is the first stop in the evening. So it's either the pub or the Zephyr. And they will always, the second stop is always Water Street Tavern.
Okay. Is that
Now you got
Water
That's
Street
in stock
Tavern
every
used to be Glory Days, or are they connected, or is Glory Days still a bar in Kent?
I don't believe so.
Pretty sure
What is
Water
it?
Street was Glory Days. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure.
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah.
Not 100% on that, but I'm pretty sure that's. How
It's
it
all
was.
like my time in Kent. I was here for 6 to 8 years. It's a little bit foggy, but
So you're a doctor?
exactly. Yes.
Yes. I might have been. I got 2 doctorates for as long as I was in college.
I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, that's exactly the
Thank
reason
you
I
for
was here so
reminding me,
long.
yes. What's up? Oh, the cost of it is $30 a person, right? $30 a person. I think that doesn't include any drinks, but that's how much it is per person.
And it's fun. We took a trip while they were training their drivers, and we had a good time. We
You
didn't
guys
even stop at
basically
the
just
bars.
drove around Kent, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's what most
They
people
have
think
the,
of.
Yeah, they have the bigger ones.
They
that
do
we
have
did.
the bikes like that,
That's a
and we
straight
might.
shot, or
Well, like you're
Right.
facing someone. Like the ones we have
oh yeah.
are circular. Like most of the ones that people have seen are you're basically it's a bar or a long table. It looks like, and you're sitting facing someone else, maybe 5 people deep, and there's like someone on the edge on each side, the drivers in the back. That's what people think of. That company, Cleveland Cycle, has
They have
those too, but they're starting off with these. And
Because it's smaller city.
Yeah.
It's not a big Cleveland.
yeah,
So just to clarify, you're driving, or there's someone driving, but you're drinking,
You're
and
still
you're also pedaling.
Yeah.
yeah.
And hey,
Yeah. How does that go?
It's
It-
fun.
it makes you feel better about the
It does.
beers that you
And
drink.
if I'm not
Right.
mistaken, too, the guy, like your driver, if people aren't really pedaling, has like a motor in it where he can pedal a little. He can make up for the slack.
Spoiler alert.
I don't know, man. I thought I was working pretty hard, but I'm out of shape.
Might have
So
been overworking yourself.
he runs marathons, so it probably would be no sweat for him.
Okay.
My hamstrings were completely fried by the time I finished. But in all reality, it's pretty evenly distributed.
cool.
It's a great time. Certainly, I would look into it. I can't believe there was a law on the books written in that if you had 6 people bike with the proper lighting, that you can drink 36 ounces of beer
Yeah.
on it. But somebody came up with a very specific law.
Whoever that man is, I want to shake his hand.
The state of Ohio. It's on the books.
That is amazing. Okay, all right. So, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, we've covered a lot of ground, actually. I mean, without even like trying to dive in too much like specific questions. But like that's what I love about, as you probably noticed, like the show. It's not like I try to format questions to give us a guide, but I mean, I want to give you guys the opportunity to talk about who and what Mad Cap is, and what your vision is, and what your community, like what you've created, and what it becomes, right? And how you foster that, and how you allow that to grow. So before, I have a thing that I do called the last call. I get a little bit silly with it. and it's 5 random questions. I try to show to show. I try to like make them accommodate to the place that we're at sometimes, and sometimes they're just completely ridiculous. I think the one time I asked about a cat. If you had a cat, you could name the cat. I don't know. It was something to do with a cat and coffee. But before we get into the last call, is there anything else that you want our listeners and our viewers to know about Mad Cap, the experience, the pinball, the passion behind the beer is, I think, evident, but that you want our listeners to know about Mad Cap?
I mean, certainly you're going to see our beer out at various establishments that have supported us for a long time. But coming into this tattered, worn-out warehouse, you're going to get a very cool vibe once you walk into it. We've got, we had a buddy of ours that's a tattoo artist, actually just finished up a bunch of cool mural artwork.
I love it.
We're going to be working on a lot of that through here.
Burrito Breath, right?
Yep.
Actually,
or is that?
He did a lot of our logos.
Transit.
He did the logos,
Yeah.
okay.
And our transit.
Okay.
Kyle Elwood and
Okay.
his buddy Dave, I want to say, did the mural that we just finished. He actually just finished it yesterday.
Nice.
Did a great job, phenomenal
So
job.
cool. That's what to me what sets little things like that.
Yeah.
Are what sets you apart.
And it fits our motif and our tone.
Exactly.
Our vibe.
Yep.
here's the thing: we don't plan anything. We don't have a think tank. We just do what we want to do because we like it, and fortunately, it resonates with other people. But I think from a authenticity standpoint, we're not calculated in any way. We're not doing anything because we feel like this is going to resonate with the most people.
Right.
But
Right.
we want everyone to feel included. And that's where the No Masters, No Snobs slogan came from.
Talk to that for a second.
Well, that was something Vince and I kicked around originally, and then certainly passed it through everybody else. But what we were noticing when we first opened up, people coming in, feeling like they were being judged because they were coming into a craft brewery.
Right.
Well, it's beer, man. We like drinking beer. Who cares?
Yeah.
Have a couple beers, and you're gonna be friends with the people at the table that you'd probably never hang out with again.
Sure.
No one's judging you, certainly from our end of the bar. And then you'd also get the guys that came in that want to tell you, all the beers they drank, and this brewery sucks and that brewery sucks, and it's like, you know what, man, we don't even want you here.
Right.
You're really not fitting with this crowd. It's really just about kind of disarming people, but also making them feel comfortable to just come in and have a damn beer. And I'll tell you what, we've had people come in, I remember specifically there was a foursome came off a golf course, and 3 guys obviously getting into craft beer, and the one dude, he liked his American lager. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
they were busting his chops. I said, hey, try the Gold Flash. You're going to enjoy it. Don't fucking listen to these guys. Sorry about dropping the F-bomb. I was trying to not do that.
So our producer, Moon Man,
You had a dump button?
No. Our producer you just like went to the bottom of his crap list. He may become after you.
I'm sorry about that.
Our producer, the Moon Man, he may hunt you down in the middle of the night. But anyways,
I'm waiting for you, buddy.
It was bound to happen.
So
That's the only word that comes out of his mouth.
It took 54 minutes.
Wow.
that's Mad Cap.
Yeah.
So
I can't believe it took 54 minutes.
the reality is we wanted that guy to now feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And you want to know what? He had his Gold Flash. Then he started, because he didn't feel like he was being judged anymore. He didn't feel like it was this daunting thing that he was trying to overcome.
You don't want those type of people to feel intimidated when they come in here, though, too.
Right.
That's the intimidation factor of like they already are thinking they're not going to like a lot of the beer. We don't want them to think that they're going to be judged for not knowing what they want, not knowing what style of beer is going to fit what they usually drink. So, and I mean, like, obviously I wasn't when you guys created that slogan, but I think that's really what it kind of, goes to.
It absolutely does. And it's, I think, and you'll even see with how we write our beer up, we're not even giving you tasting notes.
Right.
What I'm experiencing might be different from what you're experiencing. I don't like to be told what I'm going to get out of my beer a lot of times.
Yeah.
I like the discussion. I like the back and forth with friends. Hey, man, I'm getting this. Are you getting that? I don't feel like I have to lie to you and say, oh, yeah, I pulled passion fruit out of that IPA, because I don't even know what the hell passion fruit is. I just know that they tell me I'm supposed to be experiencing it.
Yeah.
Right. Vince is very big about that too. He doesn't like. I mean, people want me especially to give them tasting notes, so I try to give them that.
It's
but
big in the
Vince is very big
yeah.
about not wanting to do that because he wants people, and I know you are too, that you guys want them to experience it for themselves. So you tell me what you're tasting.
Yeah, and it's like that. So like when I first started getting into craft beer, I almost took a class to become like a beer steward, and it's like
cool.
where you learn all about these tasting notes and everything. And I was with my buddy last night at Missing Mountain, and I was drinking that big Collabo beer, the Brute IPA.
Oh man, we're gonna tap that soon.
I was telling him earlier that I can't wait.
I haven't even had it yet.
I had it last night, and I was trying to explain it to him. I'm like, I don't know the right words to say to tell you how it tastes, how like a craft beer steward or a like tasting note person would want me to say, but like, here's what I taste, like here's what I'm experiencing when I taste it. And I think that's a little bit of what you're getting at.
Yeah,
like,
and I'm not downplaying what these
fine.
guys
Yeah,
do. I think
that's like an educated
going to your point when you were talking about even getting into these roasters and starting to experience new flavors from their coffee, being a critical thinker and getting into a beer and trying to pick out what you're experiencing, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just hoisting your crap on other people that just want to enjoy a beer. That's the problem.
Yeah, right. Like, you need to experience this.
Yes.
Or you need to, I agree. I absolutely agree. And it is that. It creates a fear, and it creates a defense mechanism for people that come in to your establishment or wherever. And it's like, well, A, they're snobby and they might think that like I'm not good enough to drink their beer, or B, like, well, I think your coffee or your beer should taste like that. And at the end of the day, it's like, no, man. And it goes back to like, like we brewed this beer, we roasted these beans. Here's what I think that I pulled out of it, and maybe I'll write these tasting notes because that's what I tasted. But like, what do you get? Yeah. So, and I love that. That's
well put.
Yeah. But here's what I would say to kind of close this out before the last call. Mad Cap, and you guys can chime in, but I mean, it's one of the funnest breweries I've ever been to. And I'm a huge fun guy.
You're a fun dude.
Like,
I'm going to tell you right
I walk
now.
in somewhere and I want to I grew up with my dad. We would go to Wing Lizard on Fulton Street in Canton, and while we would for a wing night, and while we would play pinball. Not only that, he owned pinball machines for his friend owned a carryout, so he would take pinball machines home and like fix them. And so I got to play. It's like a dream of childhood, So I got to play some video games, but more so pinball. And so like I have an early passion about like pinball. And to that note, like when we would be playing pinball, even like as an adult with my dad, when he gets multi-ball, hat backwards, it's on.
He
doesn't wear his hat backwards at any point ever in his life, except when he gets multi-ball, when he's playing football. It's amazing. That's awesome. It's amazing. Like, and he needs to come here, like get in the leaguers, because he's like,
join up. These guys are awesome.
He enters in his initials as the Wiz every time.
I love that. That's a good childhood memory.
Oh, right, dude, I love it. And that's why I was like, I love what, and it's becoming like a trend, the pinball stuff, but I don't get it too much into that, but that's my take on here, like, and it's not just like a random pinball machine, like, you got Star Wars pinball, you got the freaking Royal Rumble pinball, holy crap, you got like, I don't know.
Dialed In's the only machine in this area right now. It's brand new. The guy that brings they'll constantly shuffle too. We've got a few we've got several in here, but they rotate a ton. Yeah, there's some old school machines. It's just cool. They keep it fresh.
I love it, man. It's cool, and it's a whole culture in itself. Almost, it seems like.
They've been piled up over there the entire time. It's awesome, dude.
I love it.
I'm gonna drink beer with them after we're done here.
Okay, well, I'm gonna play the Royal Rumble game. That's my main goal for coming here. I just the show as like a side note. I'm here to play the Royal Rumble.
I'm here to play Royal Rumble.
It's the only reason.
That's it. So last call. All right, I want to go through you guys.
Ask them some questions.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta answer.
We'll start with you, Kyle, and then we'll work our way down. So, random weird questions. Number one, being so close to Kent State. When I was in Kent and lived that life and was about that life, I drank a lot of Keystone Light. Okay. Probably because it was like a 30-pack. That at that time was why I went to Bottles 101. Now we didn't even talk about that. That's probably another whole conversation. Like, Bottles 101, holy crap! Oh my goodness, what a transfer! I love it.
But phenomenal job there.
Yeah, I love it.
Love the new bar area.
Yeah. Oh, probably because it was the cheapest 30-pack I could buy.
Okay. Keystone.
Yeah. And so, like, the question is, what type of beer did you drink when you were in college?
The only beer that I really drank when I was in college was Natty Light.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing with you. I went to Akron. It was the cheapest beer. We'd get 30 packs of it.
Which was what?
Natty Light.
All right.
Actually, recently, I just bought a 12-pack of it like 2 months ago just to see how it tasted, though, too. Randomly stopped at the gas station, went to Snowco, because I hadn't had it in so long.
It was still from when you were in college.
Yeah, I think
somebody lost at Jenga.
There's a small part of me. There was a small part of me that was still like, okay, this is not bad. This is not as terrible as I thought it was. I mean, it was not great, but
you were
my old self.
You don't sound
not
proud
terrible.
A wise man once told me the best beer is the one that's in your hand. That's something to always remember.
Okay.
Yeah, so Natty Light.
Okay, all right. What about you?
Amstel Light.
Oh, really? Okay. You were like for like college age. That's kind of like.
That was always my go-to.
But she did tell me though too. We were talking about it earlier that
my friend Jackie and I convinced ourselves that it did not give us a hangover.
You always got to have that one beer. That's so good.
About it. I love it. How about you?
Dude, 30-pack cubes of Miller High Life.
Woo!
And we would...
Champagne? Is it the champagne?
The champagne of beers. And we consumed a ton of those. We might have even, pulled a few beer heists back in the day where we just ran out with a few cases.
I may or may not have done that in my day.
It was a great... That one got me through the end of high school and into college for sure.
Okay. Touching back on question number 2 on the pinball culture, do you have, and I haven't answered this question, I'll go last though, but do you have a favorite pinball machine?
When I play it, I'll usually play the arcade games here more often. When I'm done, I play Mortal Kombat. But if I do play pinball, I prefer nothing against Star Wars and Dialed In, the newfangled. I actually prefer to play the old school games like
Really?
Space Shuttle. Yeah, I do.
Nice.
Does it just feel? I was born in 35. I grew up in when the pinball games were like that though too. They weren't quite as flashy too. So if I had to, anything older would be my favorite pinball game. Yeah.
Okay.
I like the Addams Family.
Oh yeah,
I
took it
played
away.
that one with the hand.
We had one.
We had it here.
It
But it used to be
got
the laundry
rotated
mat
out.
at the Stowe laundromat.
That is such a good one.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is a great answer.
I suck at pinball. My daughter beats me and she's 10.
Her picture is probably in that Dialed In game.
Yeah, it's like a selfie game over there.
Really?
The ones that I love the Royal Rumble one because when we're brewing in the back, we can hear Macho Man with his various lines.
Do you know any of them?
Oh, you!
In in my work dreams, I have nightmares of Macho Man yelling.
We'll just be back there brewing, and these guys will be banging away on a pinball machine, and you'll just hear Macho Man. And I'm like, all right, that'll lift your spirit any day.
My friend my friend had a Sega CD, and there was a game, like a WWF game, and there was Macho Man, and he was like, "I'm gonna do a tap dance on your head." I will always remember that line.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do a tap dance on
you
your
had
head.
the best one-liners. That was awesome.
So my dad had this game that he brought. I don't know the name of it, but when I talk to people that know pinball, they know what I'm talking about. It was this like lizard game, this lizard pinball machine.
Oh, I would love that.
And it, like down the center was like the tongue, and like when you got a ball stuck, the ball would come out the center of the whole machine, out of the tongue of the lizard, and it was like I just remember it as a kid in my garage. It was the greatest.
So that
thing.
was one that your dad bought and
when did he
put together?
You would fix it.
Does he still have that as a hobby?
No, he kind of. Yeah, he works for Scout Patrol now, and so like he probably knows how to do it still.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I'm gonna try to get him back into
Well, what's
it.
the name of the game?
I don't know. That's the thing.
We gotta Google it.
I know.
We're gonna have to look
I need
it
to
up.
figure it out because like it was my favorite game, like pinball machine. If I remember, but it's like I remember the big tongue and just spat the ball back out. I was like, this is amazing. So okay, maybe you know this or not, but in my research of Mad Cap and the word Mad Cap, there's a Mad Cap villain in the Marvel comics. He was a antagonist against Deadpool in a lot of his comics. If you could have a beer with any comic book character, who would it be?
Well, I mentioned Mike at the beginning. He created the Bullet is actually a comic book character.
That. Yes.
And he's got to
So
be
cool.
one of my favorite comic book characters, even though he's not
Not
published, because he wears his underwear on the outside of his spandex.
Just like Whaleman.
Well, that's right. We ripped it off and didn't realize it.
And this is the second show I've referenced Whaleman, so I don't know.
That's going to be a theme. You're going to learn to tie everything back to that. It's like, 5 degrees to Kevin Bacon? Yeah, I mean, that I didn't even realize that Deadpool reference until later on. So I definitely can't use that as inspiration for that name. Hey, what's going on, party people? So I'd have to say The Bullet, which maybe there's a comic coming to you soon, a graphic novel. I don't know.
That is a genius
Marvel
idea.
Comics reached out. They're looking for a
We did a zine.
screenplay.
We did a zine last year for our
Yeah, we
second
did.
anniversary, full-fledged comic book right there.
There it is.
You did a what last year?
We did a zine.
What is that?
It's like
Like an old punk rock
Yeah.
kind of zine with just random artists and
Okay.
artwork
Okay.
and things in there. We did for a limited release on our first anniversary.
Nice.
I don't know that one's. We gotta talk to Kyle about getting one for this year.
yeah, that would be awesome. They were well received last year.
What are your guys? Come on, you guys can't.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
so
comic book character.
For me, I mean, it's such a cop-out answer is Deadpool because he's so sarcastic
That would-
and right. He's like the dude the everyman.
It'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
Mine's
And
gotta be Catwoman or Harley Quinn.
She gets crazy when she drinks whiskey and bourbon, so I could see the Harley Quinn thing.
So you're saying she turns in?
I'm not. Yeah, I can relate to that. My wife established a rule a long time ago. I'm not allowed to drink dark liquor.
I'm not either.
Like, yeah. Question number 4. Going back to the Keystone and the Natty Lights. What is the worst beer you ever drank? I'm gonna go ahead and ask the question.
Man, that's terrible. That's a tough question too.
I know, right?
I don't want to
But
I don't
have
want
answers for that I don't want to say.
He wants to be in this conversation.
I know.
Probably the first beer that I tasted that Ryan brewed out of his garage.
I was gonna say the newest one that he
He
brewed.
told me
Damn.
to say that.
That's not. I like that.
I'm kidding.
It was only uphill from there.
He's joking.
Well, don't qualify it with
Right.
that. It probably was
No,
bad.
it's not.
What about you?
Natty Light.
Yeah, right. That's okay.
It's-
I'll own it. I'll own that.
It's the one that you drink when you know you're done, and then you Ralph it all out. I don't care what it is.
last-
It's the one that you know you should not continue to be drinking with.
Yeah, and you're just, for
Yeah.
some reason, you're just like, it's there.
But other than that, I mean, I'll drink any beer you put in front of me. I don't care.
Well, I will too. I'll try anything.
I may not like it as much as others.
Yeah,
But
sure.
what about you?
Man, whew, that's a long list. I mean, I've tried a lot of different crazy beers. I had in Kent, one of my fraternity brothers, for whatever reason, we went to Bottleless 101, and we bought a 6-pack of this chili beer that had a chili pepper in the beer. And it was so hot, and it was bad. And then we each drank one. We each drank one, and then we saved the other 4 to make Pledge's drink. It was that bad. It was like...
Was it unbearable? It was unbearable.
Yeah.
How hot it was,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's ways to
It must have been
incorporate
Yeah.
like peppers into it that really blend well with what you're trying to do. And then there's other times where it's like, man, what is this
What are you
gimmick?
trying to do? Yeah.
This is god awful.
Yeah. So, last question. So, this is totally off. I mean, not crazy, but totally unrelated to anything else we've been talking about. I don't know if you guys have seen the Browns lock coolers, right? They all around Northeast Ohio. I have many thoughts about it, or like with craft beer and Bud Light and whatever. Yeah, the fridge. Yeah, the refrigerator. Yeah,
They
that
have
is locked.
like the chain locker
Yeah.
on it. Yeah, yeah,
And they say if the first Browns win, you can unlock it, right?
yeah.
What
Who
will
unlocks it? Who has the key?
Where
It's
are
weird.
they?
It's weird that I know this much information about them, but they're like remotely. They're gonna be able to like unlock like the lock.
It's
they're
a
gonna be able to-
satellite
Yeah,
feed down
yeah,
to it.
Yeah. Yeah. So the lock is supposedly just gonna drop off.
Oh, that's so
Are you
weird.
serious?
I swear, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
like Thanos?
How have I not
Yeah.
heard of
Yeah.
this?
You don't even know what I'm talking about?
I don't either.
No,
I'll tell you.
hopefully that's a barrel-aged beer that's going to last a while. 'cause
No,
it's gonna
No,
be-
it's
Bud Light.
it's Bud Light.
Bud Light.
Hey,
It's
ain't
Bud
got
Light.
what I'm picking up on.
So, if the Browns win,
Yeah.
what are you going to do?
I just want to see what's going to happen with those fridges specifically because it's going to be pure mayhem. Like it's going to look like an apocalyptic scenario. People clubbing each other for Bud Light bottles.
It is.
That's all I care.
It
I
is.
literally, when I heard that they announced that, I'm like, what are they? This is going to be. They're
Horrible
just going to
idea.
open up in a bar, free Bud Lights to people. You think that's going to go well?
Horrible turn of events.
If the Browns win a game, well, if they win week 1, that's going to be huge.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll be there.
Are you going? That's awesome. And like, I hope they're moving in the right direction. It'd be really nice, real quick, Hank, give me the when I'm done, because this can be long-winded. I moved out here from California. I was a Raiders fan, but moved out here, and I still like the Raiders. Moved out here. I fell in love with the Browns, not because of the Browns. They sucked, and they have since I moved out here.
They have
When
since
they came back in '99.
Yeah.
But it's more the fans, and it was more again going back to that community.
Yep. I was just going to say that.
Maybe we're a community of losers wallowing in our own pain and sorrow. But man, if they get that thing going and they can turn the ship around,
Oh, my goodness.
they're going to be the hottest ticket in town. And downtown's going to be
NFL.
out of control.
Woo! Yeah, you thought the Cavs was big. Like,
It's going to be insane. So I want it more for the suffering fans.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
4 kids. Not a single one of them's a Browns fan. It's sad.
I don't blame them.
I haven't done my job as a fan.
What will you do, though, if they win?
man, I'm pretty chill. Like, I like sports.
But I mean, let me frame it in this. You have, like, you could do something with it as a brewery, possibly. Possibly.
I could
don't know.
market it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's start thinking on it.
I just lit the match.
Yeah, we gotta go with our motif.
Let's start thinking on that.
Wait, what? Light the match and I just
Is that
walk
when it's
away.
happening? I love it. I think they're going to jump on it.
They're playing the Steelers game 1.
Yeah.
We're just
All right,
gonna
well,
open
if they
up a
win
fermenter.
game 1, I'm gonna laugh.
Yeah.
If they win game 1, I'm laughing in Trent's face.
If,
That's our song.
if the Browns win week 1, we're doing keg stands off the 20-barrel fermenter at Mad Cap. I guarantee it. There's got to be some fine print to that. I don't know that we can hold up that end of the bargain.
We're endangering people's lives.
If they win when I'm there, I have no idea what I will do. Like, I don't know. Like, if I'm there in the experience, like, I might, like, take my pants off and start a revolution. I might. I don't know. I've been in downtown Cleveland dressed as the Ultimate Warrior. I've been in Cleveland Brown Stadium with, I have like a plethora of Cleveland Browns like costumes. I'm that guy. Like, I'm not as passionate.
Can you have like a
but
Browns thong on when you do that?
maybe?
You're going down a rabbit hole with me, pal.
Yeah, so-
You sound like you're going to be more excited if the Browns win one game versus when the Cavaliers won a championship.
No.
Go on record.
No, I will not. I will not, because I'm more of a Cavs fan than I am a Browns fan. You can crucify me if you want as a.
Absolutely not.
But
We're some- that's-
I mean,
I
I
am
have
too,
my Mark
but-
Price jersey. Like, I was at Game 7 at a bar with my childhood friends wearing my Mark Price jersey when that happened. But like,
What was
I
that
grew up-
flood of emotions like? Sorry to jump in on you, because this dude is probably very similar in his love.
yeah, no, it was. I mean, one of my friends has Mark Price signed his Bible because he was in a band that would play at churches sometimes. But yeah, it was. I mean, it's captured in video.
That's cool.
Yeah. But before we get too far down this trail of Cleveland sports and emotional repercussions of promises that we may or may not make, I want to. I can't thank you guys enough for not only just for like being here on the show, but for genuinely opening up and for
Absolutely.
letting us into the mindset and the heartbeat and the conversation of what and who Mad Cap is as a brewery and a community. Because at the heart of it all, that's what the Hop and the Bean is. I want to create, not even, I go back to you. I don't want to be not me, but I want to be a person that can push this thing forward, that can progress this community of craft beer and specialty coffee in the same way.
Certainly, we appreciate it, Buzz, Hank. I know. Next time, if we ever do this again, he needs to be a part of this conversation because he's itching over there. But it was great having you guys here.
Yeah.
You're thanking us. We should be thanking you because this is something that you guys are kind of doing to help just get us out there and really help grow this community that us breweries and roasters are trying to.
Yeah, hopefully we can get
foster.
Ventry involved next time.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Some great guys.
Ventry, I will go on record to say, with a lot of the coffees that I had at Acton Coffee Roasters, Ventry, their PB&J coffee roast is one of my favorites. It's like top 2.
Those dudes do a great job.
So good.
I told them I wouldn't talk too much about their business because I didn't want to cast a negative light on them with my shenanigans. But no, they're great guys. They do all their roasting out of here. They're certainly of the same ilk and mindset of Mad Cap. And you'll be seeing a lot more collaborative efforts between the two of us.
I love that.
I was drinking our Skid or Die Brown Ale.
Yeah,
which
I want to try that before I leave.
Well, Nick was supposed to bring me another one.
I told him to go away.
But to that point, we'll get them involved next time. But certainly, you guys thank you for your time and coming out and hanging out with us.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. So, as we wrap up here, guys, thank you so much for all of our listeners and all of our watchers that take time out of your day to join us to view the journey and the adventure that is the Hop and the Bean, that is the communities that are created by craft beer and specialty coffee. And so, if you're watching this at this and you want to share this.
What is wrong with you?
At any point, or if you want to tell anybody about the Hop and the Bean, and I don't do that from a standpoint of running the page, but I do that as a community. So if you want to help us propel the community, help us reach places that maybe we're not reaching, go ahead and share this video, go ahead and share this stream, go ahead and tell people about our podcast, because that's the way we want to build, organically and through our relationships and through the communities that we're building through community, coffee, and beer at the Hop and the Bean and every craft brewery and roaster that we and coffee shop that we visit. So thank you so much for joining us for the Hop and the Bean today here at Mad Tree, and we will
Mad
catch
Cap.
you. Mad Tree is
Mad
a different
Cap.
brewery. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys so much. Mad Tree will be at next week. No, we won't. Where is Mad? Is Mad Tree in
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Okay. I have so many in my head. I'm like, they sometimes get jumbled. But I'm Buzz Andrews, the Hop and the Bean at Mad Cap, and I'm all hopped up. Thanks for watching.